Hi everyone! Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to join as you go sunburst hexagons together. If you don't know how to do a sunburst hexagon, I will have a link to a video tutorial for that down in the description box below. I'll also put up a couple of my pattern links where you can find the written instructions for that. Tonight I'm going to be using a DK weight yarn and my 4.5mm hook, or size 7. And I've worked up a bunch of sunbursts in different colors of my scrap yarns here. And I'm just going to be showing you how I put them together with the join as you go. I'm going to be using the join as you go that has a really pretty braided effect. So with that braided effect, there's just something that we have to keep in mind. So when we work up our blanket, normally when you join up a blanket, your slip stitches may not be as obvious, but with this one, you can see the braided effect, which I think is really beautiful. But for the sake of consistency, when you're working up this one, you're going to want to decide if you're going to work down the length, the sides of your blanket, if you're going to work across the top, or if you're going to work from one corner down, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from corner to corner, basically. And then you'll have to decide which corner to what corner. So when I made the summer Fade Hexie Blanket, I started in the top left-hand corner, and I worked down towards the bottom right-hand corner. And that was just because those were the colors, the way the colors lined up. But I want to show you that I made, not an oopsie, but when I was first starting the blanket, I made my first hexagon, which is kind of like your anchor, and then I joined this one over here rather than starting with this one. So what I should have done is this one, joined this one to the first, and then the white one to this one and that one. Okay, and then that would have created a raised white seam over here. All right, but because I didn't do that, and then followed, once I figured out, okay, I'm going to work from corner to corner. Now you can kind of see how this one fades into the background a little bit, as opposed to all the other ones that have raised edges. And see this one white, this white down here, it's got all the white, whereas this one has only one raised white edge. So for consistency's sake, it does look nicer if you pick a direction and stick with that direction throughout the rest of the project. If you're working up a scrappy blanket, because this join as you go is really, really great for scrappy projects, it doesn't totally matter. I mean, it really doesn't in the end. It's just, you know, a little thing that I like to do and that I think, you know, elevates the final look of the project. So that's just something to keep in mind. Having said all of that, let's get started on the tutorial. I'm just going to be picking mine willy-nilly and joining them up so that you get an idea of how all the edges work together. It's really, really simple. I mentioned in my previous tutorial that I started with the hardest joining technique, and I've been working my way down to the easiest of all of the hexagon joins. So this is the easiest, other than just like straight up sewing or slip stitching. This is the easiest way to join your hexies, and it's, again, really, really fun and super awesome if you have scrappy projects you want to do. I highly recommend this method. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your first hexagon of the blanket and work all 4 rounds, okay? Then you're going to cut your yarn, tie off, sew in those ends so that it's not sloppy and hanging out all over the place. Sometimes I even like to put a stitch marker into the corner just to indicate that this was my first one. This is where I started, because you tend to get turned around when you're working up hexagons, 6 sides rather than 4. I don't know. It just happens. So then you're going to take your next sunburst and you're going to work up the first 3 rounds, okay? Then with your 4th round, you're going to work the first edge. So I like to do the first corner. I start with my corner, I work along the edge and work the first half of the 2nd corner. And then I start slip stitching into my project. So I'm going to do that now and just show you. And again, these written instructions and the full tutorial on the sunburst can be found in the description below. pause for a water break because I have been battling a cough and I really hope I don't have a coughing fit. Okay, so we're going to chain 2 and that's going to be our first double crochet, and then we're going to put 2 more into this same space, and that acts as the first half of your corner. Chain 1, work 3 more double crochets into that same space, and that will finish off your first corner. Then we're going to work our side. Our side is 3 double crochets in that first chain 2 space, and then another 3 double crochets over here. So I'm going to work my next 3 double crochets into this next chain 2 space, like so. And then I'm going to work the first 3 double crochets of this second corner here, or in other words, the first half of this corner. Now I'm not going to chain or do anything. Now I'm going to join this to my anchor hexie. Okay, so the very first one of your project. I'm going to do that by inserting my hook into this corner chain 1 space, any corner chain 1 space, it doesn't matter which one, but you're going to insert your hook from front to back into that chain 1 space of any corner. And then I am going to chain 1, and it really doesn't matter if you do or don't, it's just wiggle room, so don't get too caught up on that. Then I'm going to finish off this corner, so I'm going to work a double crochet, and then you're going to find the first stitch over here, and you're going to work slip stitch into the front, from front to back, okay, into the top of that, and then you're just going to work a double crochet into the corner, into the next stitch, in that top one there, insert your hook from front to back and slip stitch, and then just work another double crochet. Okay, so we have finished that corner. Now I'm going to work into the next space. I like to work in between the spaces. Okay, if you want to work into the top of that stitch, totally up to you. You can do that. I just like to have a little bit of separation. I like the way it looks when you just go in between your granny clusters. So that's what I do. But it's entirely a matter of preference. It's not going to make a difference. So let's start along the side here with our first double crochet. I'm going to make sure that I go into the first stitch of this next grouping. So slip stitch and work your double crochet, slip stitch into the next one and work your final double crochet on your working hexie. And now we're going to go into the next space. All right, all you're doing is slip stitching from front to back and double crocheting into your working hexie. Very, very easy. Slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet. That is it. That is all we are doing. Eventually, you're going to come upon a corner. So I'll kind of pull back and show you what we have done. So we have slip stitched that side together. These are joined. This is how it looks in the back. Okay, nice and flat in the back, clean, very simple and straightforward. I have reached a corner. I'm going to slip stitch into the corner, okay, and I'm going to chain 1 just so that I have a little bit of wiggle room. And then I'm going to finish off this corner with 3 double crochets. I don't have another hexagon to join this to, right, because this is just my second one. So I'm just going to continue on and finish this hexie the way I would normally. All right, so that's joined up. That was a really easy one. And we're just going to finish this hexie. So work our sides, which is 3 double crochets twice. So 3 double crochets in the chain 2 spaces, and then we're going to work a corner, which is 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, and I'm going really fast because I'm assuming you guys know all of this, and if you don't, you can just go watch the Sunburst tutorial where I go over it in much more detail. I just want to get to the good stuff, which is joining. showing you how to join. So I'm just working along the side here. I have another corner to do. Now I'm working along another side. And I have another corner. And then I will be finishing off my last side on this hexagon here. So 3 more double crochets in this chain 2 space. And 3 double crochets into this chain 2 space. Okay, so we've made it all the way around. Phew. Now to join our round, we are going to slip stitch into the top of this double crochet here, not into the chain 2, okay? And that just creates a nice clean finish. So slip stitch, cut your yarn, and I like to sew my end in right away because then I don't have to do it later. It's just done. So thread it, flip it over, and I'm going to go right down, maybe bring this up closer, there we go. Okay, I'm going to go down the back of that stitch, back of this double crochet stitch, down, okay, down the corner in this direction towards you. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to have like a really obvious divot here, but you also don't want to pull too loose. And then I'm going to split the ply or just go into the next and work back and forth into this corner. Okay, a couple times, that's good. Cut your yarn. Okay. Okay, so we have 2 hexies officially put together. Lovely. Now let's do one down here so that you can see 2 sides being joined, and then you'll get the idea of how the corner's done. What color shall we do? Let's do this kind of mustardy color. What is this? Gold, mustard, orange, pumpkin, who knows? Pumpkin spice, let's call it that. I have no idea what it is. All right, so I have already worked the first half of this side because, yeah, we'd be here all night if I hadn't. So I am going to work into this corner here. If you can see the chain 1 space, we're going to insert my hook, make sure my yarn is behind me here, and slip stitch. I'm going to chain 1 and work my first double crochet in to finish this corner. And then we are going to insert our hook, slip stitch, and double crochet. And here there's a knot. We're just going to go underneath that knot here. Okay, slip stitch and work your double crochet. So that's your corner finished. Now we're going to go into the space between. Okay, it's a little tight here because that's where we started and joined our round. And then we're going to work a double crochet, pull back a little bit. If this one's hiding underneath, sometimes it can get hidden away. Make sure you get that first one because you'll run out of stitches if you don't. And you'll get to the end up here and you'll be like, ah. Slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet. That's really all there is to it. Slip stitching and double crocheting. Now, when I get to my corner here, so I know I'm at the end of my row here, or my side, because I have worked up the first half of this corner, okay? So I've got my 3 double crochet here. Now, instead of going into this top of this stitch, I always just go into the corner, Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch into my corner right next to me, and then I'm going to stitch, excuse me, slip stitch into this blue one here. Okay, just so that our corners are all nice and snug. Chain one for a little wiggle room. If you don't chain one, I find that the corners just kind of get like all balled up on each other, all tight, and it's on top of each other, and it's just like you need a little space. It needs a little space. It needs a chain one. Okay, just a chain one. Work a double crochet, and then we're going to go into this first stitch here on our blue one. Okay, we have nowhere else to go. We got to go blue, right? So let's do it. Slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, and double crochet. Pull back so you can see what we've done here. Okay, see that? Very easy, very satisfying. Slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet. Oh, that's one too many. Pay attention to what you're doing and don't be me. Go to the next one. So yeah, every corner is 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and along your sides you just have 2 sets of 3 double crochets. It's really straightforward. Not too much counting. Okay, so we've made it to the first half of this corner here. Okay, so I'm just going to slip stitch into this corner, my blue one, and then chain 1. And that's it. I've joined it to both of those hexagons, and now I'm just going to finish off the hexie as is. Nothing else to do but double crochets. So work the 3 double crochets into that corner to finish it off, and then we're going to do the 3 double crochets in each chain 2 space along the side here. Oh my goodness, I keep dropping my yarn. There we go. Do. Okay, and then I'm going to work a corner, so 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet. And then work another side, so 3 double crochet in each of the chain 2 spaces. And then work a corner, 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, and my last side here. Okay, so once you've made it all the way around, as you can see here, then you just join it around the same way you did with your first hexie into the top of that second double crochet, not into the chain 2, and then fasten off. All right, I'm gonna sew in this end. So we flip it around so that the back is facing us. Then we just go down the post, the double crochet post. And then back and forth these corner stitches here a couple times. Make sure you split the ply or that you skip over that first loop. Otherwise you're going to be pulling your yarn in and out on yourself, and that's silly and a waste of time. How many times have I done that? Too many. Okay, so we've got 3 joined. Now, what say you? I guess we could go, well, I'm still only going to have 2 sides. I wanted to kind of show you 3 sides, but I suppose that's not really going to work. Unless I join it over here, and then you can go over here. Okay. Let me just work this out before I get ahead of myself here. Okay, so I've got my next hexie, and let's do it again. So I'm going to join over here just because I want to be able to show you 3 sides. So, yeah. So I have my first edge worked along my sunburst, and I'm going to join into this corner. Again, you can work into any corner and start and go and do whatever you want. Okay? It's really foolproof almost, but like it's kind of like a build your own adventure type thing. You can even start from the very center and like work around in circles. Like you could, yeah, that would be fun too, especially with a scrappy project. Work from the center out. Oh, that's fun. I like that idea. I might have to do it. And then you just stop when it's like big enough one day. Oh, yeah. Do it. Someone do it. So all I'm doing, even though I'm not describing it to you whatsoever, is joining this hexagon. The exact same way that I joined that original navy blue one to the white one. I'm just going along the one side, and I'm doing it very, very fast because this one is not the one that I really want to show you. What I want to show you is the one I'm going to squeeze in here. Okay, so I'm not doing anything that you haven't seen. Don't worry, don't panic. This one was joined the exact same way that this one was joined to the white. Okay, so just along that one side, I'm doing it very, very quickly so that I can get to the point, which is to show you what happens when you have 2 corners. It really is amazing how fast you can crochet when under pressure. Okay, I'm on my corner here. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to film this video. It's just crazy. Every time I sat down, there was something coughing my head off. It's like, who gets sick in the summertime? Seriously. Alright, I am on a corner. Apparently I can't talk and count at the same time here, folks. Okay, we're on our last side here, and then I can show you how we squeeze a hexie into a cute little spot. And really, you have basically all of the knowledge to do so, but I'm just going to show it to you anyways. Okay, so we started with the white and we joined the blue with one side, and then the orange we joined 2 sides. Now I'm going to take this burgundy color and I'm going to squeeze it in here. So I'm going to start in this corner and join up to here, across, and then down. And then you'll have every situation you should come across in the blanket. Okay, and you know, not to like kill the surprise or anything, but you join this corner the same as you join this corner. But I'm just going to show it because sometimes it trips people up and they're like, oh no, I haven't seen this before. And it really is very straightforward. So let's just do it. Okay, so I've got another sunburst and I've got one side worked up, and I'm going to insert my hook from front to back into this corner here and slip stitch, and I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm going to work a double crochet here. Okay, and then I'm just going to slip stitch along and double crochet. Oh my goodness, there we go, until I get to this corner up here. So slip stitch, double crochet, slip stitch, double crochet, so we are approaching the corner. This yarn is really pulling. Okay, so we have our 3 double crochets done in this corner here, the first half of it. I'm going to slip stitch into the white corner. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch into my orange. And then just chain 1 to give yourself some wiggle room to be able to put your next stitches in so that your corners aren't all jumbled up on each other. Okay, you work a double crochet into the same corner that we were working on so we can finish it off. And then we're going to put our hook into the top of this first stitch here. Okay, and keep crocheting in that corner. So I've got 2 done. Slip stitch again and put my final and third crochet into that corner to finish it off. And now we just go along the side, slip stitching and double crocheting like we had done before. Sip of water time. Okay, so we're approaching our next corner here. So when we get there, what do you think we're gonna do? We are going to slip stitch right beside us, okay, into our adjacent hexagon, and then into the next one. It's kind of like you jump over into the next one, just so that all of those corners stay nice and snug. We chain 1, and then we have to finish our burgundy corner here. So we work a double crochet, slip stitch into that first double crochet in the blue, work your double crochet in the burgundy, and just keep on going along the side here. So that's my corner finished. Now I'm going to work along the side. Excuse me, I'm trying so hard not to cough. Just get me through the tutorial. Okay. So we've worked our side. We have the first half of our corner. Excuse me. Chain 1, and then work your 2 sides left on this burgundy hexie. I'm going to finish off this corner with 3 double crochet. And then 3 double crochet in the next chain 2 space. 3 double crochet into the next chain 2 space. And then work a corner. So 3 double crochet, chain 1, 3 double crochet, and then finish off this very last side here. There we go. Fasten off by joining your round in the top of the first double crochet, not the chain 2, just like you did with all the other ones. And there you have it. Okay, they're all joined up. So, hope this was helpful. Happy crocheting, everyone.